The security guard who was a billionaire's son in Nigeria, Chief Bernard, was renowned not only for his vast wealth and business empire, but even more for his wisdom. His greatest pride, however, was his only son, Larry, a handsome, brilliant medical student studying abroad. As Larry's graduation approached, Chief Bernard reminded him of his promise to marry afterward. "Don't worry, Dad," Larry laughed. "I will look for a good woman when I come home." "I trust you," his father replied, "but I already have eyes on two women in my company, both hardworking, educated, and beautiful." After the call, a bold idea struck Larry. What if he returned home disguised as a poor security guard at his father's company? This way, he could discover who would love him for himself, not his wealth. The test is set. Chief Bernard called Sandra to his office first. She was respectful and kind. "My son is returning soon," he explained. "I believe you could make him a good wife. I'm not forcing you, but if his heart chooses you, I'll be very happy." Sandra received this news with quiet grace. Next came Jessica, who entered with confident strides. Unlike Sandra's calm response, Jessica's ambition was immediately evident. Her eyes gleamed with the prospect of marrying into billions. When Larry arrived in Nigeria, he shared his unconventional plan with his father. "Dad, I want to pretend to be a poor security guard," he insisted. "I want to see who has a genuine heart." Chief Bernard laughed. "You're just like me when I was young. But are you sure?" "Yes, let me live in the boys' quarters and work at the company gate." Revealing characters. The next morning, Larry was unrecognizable in his faded uniform and rubber sandals. As workers passed through the gate, only Sandra greeted him with a smile. "Good morning, Oga Security." Jessica walked past as if he were invisible. Days passed and revealing patterns emerged. Jessica began strutting around the office like royalty, her shoulders raised high like a peacock. "Some people better learn to respect me," she announced loudly in the cafeteria. "Soon I'll be the boss's daughter-in-law, and when I marry, I'll tell my husband to sack some workers, especially those gossipers." She even confronted Sandra. "Stop trying so hard. You're not my competition. I'm more classy, more beautiful." Sandra replied calmly, "I'm not competing with you. How can you fight over a man who hasn't even arrived yet?" Meanwhile, Larry observed everything. He noticed how Jessica looked down on staff while Sandra not only greeted him daily, but once brought him cold water on a scorching afternoon. "Here," she'd said kindly. "It's very hot today. You need this." Larry had been deeply touched. "Thank you very much." "No problem. You're doing a good job," she'd replied. The confrontation. One morning when Larry politely opened the gate for Jessica, she snapped, "Are you mad? Don't ever use that your smelling mouth to talk to me again." Shocked by her venom, Larry finally spoke up. "You're too full of yourself. Just because the boss mentioned his son, you act like the boss's wife. Do you even know how he looks?" Jessica exploded. "You will regret this. I'll tell my husband-to-be to sack you the moment we marry." "That's if he even chooses you," Larry replied. "Useless thing, just like your foolish father and your mother who gave birth to a dog like you." That cut deep. Larry simply said, "You've shown your true self," and walked away. Jessica stormed into Chief Bernard's office, demanding he fire the useless security man. To her surprise, Chief Bernard refused. "Larry is a good, respectful young man," he said calmly. "If he spoke to you that way, there must be a reason." Jessica left confused, wondering why the chief would defend a mere security guard so strongly. That evening, Larry told his father everything. "She insulted you and late Mom today." Chief Bernard nodded sadly. "She came to my office and lied to my face." "That girl is shameless," Larry continued. "She called me a poor boy and threatened to have her husband-to-be sack me." Chief Bernard shook his head. "And yet she doesn't know the poor boy she's shouting at is the same man she dreams of marrying." New developments. Soon after, Chief Bernard announced his retirement and introduced a handsome representative named Mr. Raymond to oversee the company until Larry's return. Jessica immediately set her sights on this new man, whispering to her friend, "Look at this man, so handsome and fresh like morning bread." "I thought you were waiting for Chief's son," her friend reminded her. Jessica flipped her hair. "Who said I can't have two? If the son takes time, I will manage Mr. Raymond for now. Meanwhile, Larry had been watching Sandra closely. One evening, he gathered his courage and confessed, Sandra, I love you. I know I'm just a security man, but my heart is real. To his surprise, Sandra smiled softly. I like you too, Larry. I liked you from the first day, but I was waiting for you to speak first. When Sandra expressed concern about Chief Bernard's son potentially firing them, Larry was moved by her response. I don't care. We can find another job, but true love is rare. They agreed to keep their relationship private. Secrets revealed. Jessica, meanwhile, had begun a secret affair with Mr. Raymond while still pursuing the chief's son. I must marry into wealth, she told her friend. Growing suspicious of Sandra's interactions with the security guard, Jessica had a cleaner follow them and discovered them kissing. The next day, Jessica confronted Sandra, threatening to report her. To her shock, Sandra stood firm. I'm not afraid of you, Sandra said boldly. If you talk to Chief Bernard, I'll tell him about your affair with Mr. Raymond. Sandra continued with wisdom. A dog that chases two bones at once will lose both. You're chasing Raymond and the chief's son. One day, both will leave you empty-handed. To prove her point, Sandra called Chief Bernard on speakerphone, telling him she was no longer interested in his son because she loved Larry the security guard. Chief Bernard invited her to his house that weekend. Afterward, Chief Bernard called Jessica too, inviting her for the same weekend. Finally, Jessica celebrated. Chief's son is back. My future husband is home. Sandra delivered one final warning. A monkey that thinks it's wiser than the hunter will one day end up in pepper soup. The revelation. Saturday morning arrived. Chief Bernard sat in his mansion, wearing a white agbada and red cap. Beside him sat Larry, not in his security uniform, but dressed in designer clothes with a gold wristwatch. Sandra arrived first and was shocked to see Larry looking completely different. Sandra, meet my son, Doctor. Larry Bernard, Chief Bernard announced proudly. Yes, the same man you knew as the humble security guard. Sandra covered her mouth in shock as Larry took her hands. I had to know who would love me without money, and you loved me as I was. Moments later, Jessica arrived overdressed in a tight red dress and excessive jewelry. Seeing Larry in expensive clothes, she was confused and angry. What is this dirty security man doing here? She demanded. Larry stepped forward. I am Dr. Larry Bernard, the only son of Chief Bernard, the same man you insulted and mocked. Jessica's face drained of color as she fell to her knees. Please, I didn't know. If I had known... That's the problem, Larry interrupted. You only respect people when you know they have money. Chief Bernard added, you insulted my son, lied to my face, and spoke badly about my late wife. You are not fit to be part of this family. As security escorted Jessica out, she screamed accusations at Sandra, who responded calmly. No, Jessica, you lost him all by yourself. A foolish bird that flies with no direction will land in the hunter's pot. The happy ending. 1 week later, Larry proposed to Sandra in a beautiful garden ceremony. 3 months later, they had a magnificent wedding. A year later, they welcomed their first child, a baby boy named David, meaning beloved. Sandra now managed one of the company branches, respected by all. As for Jessica, she discovered she was pregnant with Mr. Raymond's child, only to learn he had moved abroad with his wife and children. She had lost everything, her job, dignity, and future security. Sitting alone by the roadside, she whispered, I had a chance. I messed it up. Now I have nothing. The wisdom. This tale teaches us that true character reveals itself when no one important is watching. Genuine love sees beyond status and wealth to the person within. As the Nigerian proverb says, a person who treats a poor man with contempt will one day need the poor man's help. Pride comes before a fall, while humility and kindness lead to lasting joy. The measure of a person isn't found in their appearance or possessions, but in how they treat others, especially those who can offer them nothing in return.